What's up, guys? Welcome back. So on today's video, we are going to be working on Jordan's Mustang. So he brought this thing to me, and we are doing injectors, a nitrous kit install, and a WOT box. Those are the only three things that we're doing to it. Pretty simple. I've already been working on it. I tried to get some time-lapse stuff, but when you're just digging around in the trunk or you're just bent over the hood, there's not really a whole lot of stuff to get. So I haven't got a whole lot. I'm going to show you guys where we're at. Then I'm going to try to get you a little bit of a time lapse, a little bit of filler, so that you guys can see how the process goes. I don't want to leave it completely numb. This is a very simple install, right? Nitrous is really easy to do. Nitrous is a very easy thing to install. The WOT box is very easy to install as long as you do what you're supposed to do. There are a couple steps that you've got to follow. You got to make sure you got the right wiring diagram. You got to make sure that you make your connections secure. You got to make sure that you do a half decent soldering job. All that stuff falls into play. So I do believe I've got to go pick up a relay for Jordan's car to activate the solenoids and everything, because you run power to the relay, and then when the relay's triggered, it runs power to the solenoids. It'll actually be triggered on a toggle switch, and then the WOT box will ground the connections. That's how we did it on the truck. That's how we're going to do it on this car. Everything should be working beautifully. I'm going to let you guys follow me along for the rest of this after I show you where we're at. So without further ado, here we go. It's still apart. It's not together yet, but we had to go pick up some new bolts. So he brought me this kit. It's actually kind of interesting, right? So like this kit here is a little bit different than most ones that you'll see nowadays. This is a Nitrous Express mainline plate kit. Therefore, it's designed slightly different. It has your plate. It has no extra meat on it. The new ones have the solenoids made into the plate. They clear the hood and everything. This one does not. You cannot put the solenoids on this directly, right? So it comes with these little arms. Well, not arms. It's supposed to come with like little dog legs that it's supposed to mount on, but apparently on this kit, they wanted you to do it slightly different. So I had to make these new brackets. And these brackets here, the solenoids bolt to them on both sides. Now you're going to have your outlet is going to come out of the solenoid and into the plate. And that's the same on this side too. Make sure you got out, because they are labeled. They are labeled as out, in and out. So you're going to make sure that you got that labeled correctly. Your nitrous line, which I've still got a little bit of finessing to do on this, it's going to run down this coolant line, go underneath the tray, through the wheel well, which we're still working on. And it comes right through the body harness grommet. It runs under all the kick panels and stuff, and I think we've run into a little issue. It's not quite long enough for where the bottle is. So as you can see here, it comes in right there. That's about all the slack I've got, and I can just barely get on. But also another problem is we need this. So this bottle, as you can see by the valve, is an older style bottle. I don't know where he got it. It's just an older style. It's not got the new lightning valve and stuff. The new lightning valve has these provisions, this 1/8 inch MPT port. They are made into the side of the bottle, which you can see here. I've got a bottle pressure gauge on one side, and I have got the transducer on the other side. As you can see in my hand here again, there's Jordan's transducer. This is the adapter that screws onto the bottom of the bottle nut, okay? So the bottle nut is made into this bottle, right? It's not made into the other one. It just has the big fitting, and then you put the bottle nut on it to reduce it down to take this -4A in. And this is actually, yeah, it's -4 on both sides. So it's a male-female -4A in fitting with two 1/8 inch NPT ports. So as you can see, my bottle is mounted here. I've got my blanket, my heater, and all that stuff. We've got all the same stuff going on in Jordan's car. Now the difference is Jordan's bottle's not standing up. Mine is standing up, and as you can see, it has to tilt that direction, top to bottom. And it has to point this way, because the pickup tube's got to pull from the bottommost point, right? And so that's what you're going to see on Jordan's car. So on the cars, or well, anything really, car, truck, doesn't matter. It just depends on where you mount your bottle. If you mount it up and down, it has to be like that. If you mount it laying down, it has to be like this. Your nipple has to point perfectly straight down, because there's a tube that's going to pull from this bottom corner back here, right? Back here. So it has to come down perfectly in a line. The bottle has to go in the same way every single time. Now, the next thing is, like I said, this seems to be a little short. This transducer needs a bottle gauge in it as well, right? So the gauge and the transducer are only going to work when the valve is open. You must open the valve before turning on the bottle heater for all this stuff to work correctly, right? Well, the biggest thing I've got right now that's an issue is running out of slack. If I put this on and I attach this to the end of it, the angle that it puts on this is just too severe, right? It's gonna end up hurting it. So the idea that I've got is I need a -4 to -4 male-to-male adapter. We're gonna add a piece of line in the middle from here to there, roughly. I mean, just get the understanding of it here, right? So then that's gonna be our extension. We're gonna put this on the end of that and then screw it into this. So what we're going to end up doing is end up moving this back, maybe up here, if the option was given. I don't know. I'm still looking. I want this to be as clean and as simple as possible, because the biggest thing with nitrous is it does scare a lot of people. I see a lot of people that are scared of nitrous. I used to be scared of nitrous. I am clearly not scared of it anymore. But this is going to be a super clean install. So the bottle bracket is mounted on top of the carpet. Unfortunately, you do have to take the bracket out to be able to take that carpet out again if you ever have to work on it. So I got to fix that clip here in a minute. But the bottle heater is going to be plug and play down here. I think I've got the piece to make that plug and play. So it came with that already on it. So I'm going to try to make it work. Yeah, that's pretty well it. There's not really much more to it than that. The only other thing that we are doing, I still got to swap injectors. Haven't got there yet. But underneath this seat that's folded down is the booster pump. And I've got a bracket, actually, where this booster pump for the S550 stuff, I got to put it on. This bracket right here that I've got, it bolts to that, and then it holds it upright back behind the plastics. So it'll be riveted down and working with that. And for the record, in case anybody was wondering how that I do my bottle stuff, you can't see it. So you're just going to take my word for it right now. The bottle, you can't see it, so you're just going to take my word for it. But these Phillips head screws you can see right there are just machine screws that I bought in a kit from Harbor Freight. So anybody can do this. It's really cheap, relatively easy. As you can see, I've got this kit right here. These are what's called nut certs if you haven't learned about them before. This is a nut cert. You put this on the end of this gun. You squeeze the handle, and it compresses this thing and squishes it down inside the hole that you drilled. And then you just screw a screw into it. That's it. So it enables you to put threads wherever in the form of a rivet. So it's really strong and works fantastic. I've been using those things for everything here lately, ever since I found out how easy they are to get a hold of. Now, I will say, I will tell you, if you didn't just notice, I have 2 of these rivet guns, right? I don't want 2 of these rivet guns, but in a pinch, I needed more nut certs for that bottle bracket, and Harbor Freight does not sell replacement certs yet, so you have to buy a new gun every time you want them. So I'm going to go online and see if I can find somebody that sells the correct size nuts, and we're going to get a bunch of them because I love those things. Those things are great. And then I've got the other rivets as well, which this is what I'm going to use for the booster pump bracket. These are just standard rivets. If you've seen anybody use one of these before, you stick it at the end of the gun, you pull the trigger, it compresses that right there, beep, and then it breaks this nipple off that I'm holding onto. It'll break it off clean, make a really clean install, nice, tight, secure, works fantastic. So let's get to work on this thing and spend no more time talking.
All right, guys, so I've got the WOT box pretty much finished up. I still got to tie in the solenoids and stuff, so that's still something to do. I don't like how, you know, these things always stick out. You know, you see them, they're kind of like a sore thumb because they're bright colors, but unfortunately that is just part of the nature of these WOT boxes. I didn't say I was going to go into, I said I wasn't going to go into this a whole lot, so I'm not going to. On your bottom connector on the PCM, pin number 8, which is green with violet, goes to green. Number 60, blue with white stripe, goes to blue on the WOT box. The top connectors, pin number 70 goes to yellow. It's yellow with violet, goes to yellow. And then on this plug right here, this purple wire right there, you come down a little bit further, going to the cools, it's orange, and coming from the fuse box, it's red. So you cut that wire in half and plug it in the middle. You can see there's the wiring for the rest of the nitrous stuff. Pause it here and look at it if you need to. It's pretty simple. You got a transducer that monitors bottle pressure. You got a heater. It just goes straight to ground. It gets power from a relay. The relay goes straight to ground into an arming switch and transducer. And then you get your 12-volt power from the battery. Really simple. It's just 4 connectors on that. Here's your nitrous control. It's really ugly, but here's your plate and your 2 solenoids, right? There's 2 wires that come off each one. These 2 are going to tie together, and they're going to go to the WOT box red wire, and the WOT box black wire is going to go straight to ground. I've already got that part taken care of. I just got to do the red wire. I got to run it in here. I actually have to extend it. Your other wires that come out of this are going to go straight to 87 on the relay, which is power, but it's only power when switched. So what will happen is in here on your panel, oh, ow, my leg. So in here on your panel, you're gonna have your wires that run to your nitrous arming switch, which says nitrous. Sorry, it's focusing on the finger. You got your nitrous arming switch and you got your heater. We're not gonna use the opener because we don't have a remote opener. We're not gonna use the purge because we don't have a purge installed. So your wires for your nitrous, we're going to have a power wire that goes to the arming switch, and it's going to go from here to the relay that's going to be in the wheel well, and it's going to trigger it. So whenever you turn it on, it's going to put power to the relay, which will put power to the solenoid. And so that's going to put power to the solenoids 24/7 once you turn that switch on through the relay. So you're going to have power coming into the relay. Then when you activate the relay with the switch, the power is then sent to the solenoids. However, the nitrous kit does not work until the WOT box grounds the circuit. So the WOT box is not designed, I've said this before in the last video, the WOT box is not designed to have power put to it. It's designed to ground. So you don't have 12 volts going into the WOT box to power the solenoids. You have to have it ground the circuit, so it has to be post-load. So what ends up happening is you end up taking 2 wires, 1 from each solenoid, running them to a single wire, running that wire to red on the WOT box, and then the black on the WOT box just goes to ground. So what you'll get there is whenever all the parameters are met, the WOT box says, hey, I should be spraying nitrous. It'll ground the circuit, nitrous will spray, right? If you do not meet those parameters, it will not spray. If you do not have the arming switch on, it will not spray, in theory. So as long as you wire everything correctly, that's how that should work. Now, the next part of that is the bottle heater. I'm going to be running a power to the bottle heater. Sorry, start over. I'm going to be running power to the switch, power out of the switch to the transducer, power from the transducer to the relay, and then what that'll do is when I flip the switch on, it's going to run power to the transducer and then to the relay to activate the relay. Once it's activated, the relay will then send power to the bottle heater to make it work. So what the transducer is going to do is in the middle is if the bottle pressure is too high or too low, the transducer is going to open and close the circuit at the correct whatever it needs to be to make sure the bottle pressure stays between 950 and 1050 psi. That's the goal. I did just find out a minute ago from Brett that the transducer is adjustable. I didn't know that. That might be why the one in my truck didn't work correctly the other day. So I need to look into that. I didn't know they were adjustable at all. I thought they come preset and that was just what it was. Having said that, I'm going to call it a night. we'll come back to this. All I have left is wiring the solenoids, swapping the injectors. I've got to go pick up some spark plugs. That's what I was forgetting today. So we need spark plugs. Actually, that's not even the end of the world because we don't even have nitrous to spray it with. So I just got to get the injectors swapped, the solenoid wires ran, the WOT box wire run forward, and then the wires for the switches and both relays mounted. We're actually on the home stretch, believe it or not. Oh, one more thing. The booster pump. I have to put that bracket on it and rivet it down. So we're on the home stretch. There's not a whole lot left on this car. It's that, and then just put the wheels back on it, the wheel well liner, the trunk liner. Just a little petty stuff, right? He will need to get a union for the nitrous kit. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to spray this one. That's going to be all on him. He will need to get a union for that hose that I was talking about earlier on, and that's going to move the transducer forward. I actually added a piece. I don't remember if I said it or not, so I'm going to show you again. I added a fitting up front on the solenoid. There's where the bottle pressure gauge is going to go. So he's got to get a gauge and put it in. So that's where you're going to see your bottle pressure. Now, there's two reasons why I did this, and those reasons simply put are that old style bottle does not have provisions for a gauge. And this right here is the simplest, easiest way that when he gets the new bottle, if he gets a new bottle, you just unscrew it, take it out. Bam, done. So you pop the hood, make sure your bottle pressure looks good. The other reason for that is you're already going to be underneath here checking jets, checking coolant, checking oil, all that stuff. Look at that bottle pressure gauge while you're there. It's only going to have pressure on it when the bottle's on. So if the bottle's off, you're not going to have any pressure on it. Sorry, I was drowning. Not that I'm much better now. So I'm going to wrap it up for the night. All we got left is some wiring, put the wheel back on it, wheel well liner. Easy peasy stuff, right? Not really a whole lot of anything left. The brackets I fabbed up, I think they turned out really nice. The WOT box wiring turned out really nice. The only thing I'm really truly not happy with, well, there's several things I'm truly not happy with, right? I would do some of this stuff a little bit differently. This plate kit is an older style kit that has the solenoids remote mounted on the side. Personally, I like the newer style lightning solenoids that are made into the plate. I would have tried to do that. I like the lightning bottle valve. The nitrous line was not quite long enough, which means it's going to have an adapter. There's just those little stupid petty things, man. Things that just come up when you end up getting a kit in the way that he got this one. And it's an older style kit. It's all brand new stuff, never been used. Nobody buys the mainline plate kit anymore. They just buy the Coyote specific plate kit with the new solenoids, the new bottle, and all that stuff. It's not an issue. It's not a problem. It's just a little bit different stuff, and the newer stuff is a little bit cleaner of an install, you know. Nitrous Express took the time to really develop this kit and do a really good job and make sure that everything was as clean and as nice as possible. That's just the gist of it, you know. It's, yeah, here I'm just adjusting, but that's just part of it, you know. And given everything that we've got, extremely happy with it. Everything's turned out really, really good. The wiring is really clean. I've learned a lot over the years of doing all this stuff, and I'm applying it each and every single time on every single car I do, and every one of them is getting better and better and better. I'm learning more and more as I go. I'm learning how to run the wires better and everything. So, I mean, at the end of the day, my point is I'm still learning as well, but I feel like I'm doing a really, really good job. I'm very happy with it. I hope Jordan's very happy with it. The kit has come out to be pretty clean. I'm not crazy about that fuel line having that big loop in it. There's physically nothing you can do about that unless you had the ability to custom make some shorter lines and stuff like that. I'm not ordering a line to go like 3 inches. It's just redundant. I mean, I could have changed that stuff up a little bit, but for what it is, there really just is no better way to do that. You know, you pull the fuel off that rail adapter, it loops around, goes to a solenoid. It is what it is. I don't like the loop, but there's no other way to do it. That's just kind of how you are on this one, unless you mounted the solenoids different. But I thought there were supposed to be like these little metal dog legs that come off of here and curved at like a 45-degree angle. And they kept saying they didn't know what he was talking about. So I had them on my car. I knew what I was talking about, but they sure didn't apparently. That's what the guy at NX told me years ago. It's called dog legs, but regardless, that's about the only thing I could have done different that I would have been happy with, is to have those metal dog legs instead of having those loops in the lines. But it looks really, really good. I think very showboaty, you know, having the solenoids up top. I just don't like how one of them has a sticker on it and the other one doesn't. I don't understand that. One literally says fuel solenoid and the other one has nothing at all, it's just blank. But that's just me. I'm OCD as can be. It drives me up the wall for anything to be unsymmetrical and not perfect. The nitrous kit on my truck, I've still not gone back and fixed it. I'm still, every day I worry about that, and there's just nothing I can do right now. We've got some other stuff going on. In the meantime, I'll be back tomorrow. Let's get Jordan's car wrapped up, take it for a test drive, and try out the WOT box and make sure everything's working correctly. I'll catch you all tomorrow. So I deleted the footage or something where I finished up Jordan's car, so I just want to talk about it real quick and give you guys the last little update. I'm going to let it take a couple seconds here. Got it all finished, and back to what I had said earlier on in the video, the WOT box is really simple as long as you do everything correctly. I actually did make a spoof, grabbed the wrong wire, same color, wrong wire coming out of the PCM connector. I did have the throttle wrong, so I had to go back and fix that. That's something I found out as he came to pick it up, and we couldn't get everything finished and finalized. So got that fixed really quickly, ran into some more issues with Jordan's car. It turns out his actually had something happen to the clutch pedal and it broke somehow. I'm not entirely sure what, but it ended up causing a sensor issue where it wasn't registering correctly. We had that little bug, and we got the new tune loaded into it. He drove it on home, and everything, as far as I know, has been fine so far. Still waiting for him to get the bottle filled and make some nitrous hits. So maybe we'll get to see him later on making some actual nitrous hits in that car. I think it's going to be pretty cool. That car has a 409 rear gear with the MT82. Sorry, I got the shakes or something. Pretty massive gear to have behind an MT82. Realistically, you want like a 331, 327. You definitely don't want to go to 409 route, in my opinion. That's for drag racing. Now, for some other application, it may be a totally different situation, but at this time, I think with the nitrous, it's really going to be rather redonkulous. So, like always, like, comment, share, spread the word, help get me out there, help make sure that your friends get to see this, because your friends are going to like this too. As always, make better choices, and there's your little sneak peek. I may have bought another hoopty for the channel. Make sure you guys come back and check it out. This thing's going to be a blast. We'll catch you next time. Peace.